Testing 1, 2, 3. Does everyone see me? Is anybody out there? If you could see me, I don't know what just happened there. I still don't know what happened there. I think everything's working now. Is everyone working now? Can everyone see me? Bueller. I'm gonna go live like I'm going live though, because I don't know what the hell's going on with my computer here. Everything's gone wacky doodle here. We can see you. Sack Attack says we can see me, so everything's all right. We're all right, New York Giants fans. This is of course Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk. Want to talk about the New York Giants? Want to talk about
this hoodie?
Want to talk about this hoodie? Want to talk about the quarterback? Want to discuss the rumors, the speculation, some of the wacky ass rumors that I am seeing on Twitter. Let's start with the Wink rumor. Wink Martindale's getting fired. Well, let's see. You gave up 40 points a couple times. Defense hasn't looked good. You don't have a progression, even though you were saddled with two rookie corners, a corner in Adoree Jackson who's had the potential to be injured on multitudes of occasions, a pass rusher who's just not there all the time in Kayvon Thibodeau. You got rid of you got rid of Leonard Williams, and you got Dexter Lawrence just anchored down the middle, and you run a system that you don't really have the players to run. So yeah, no, I don't think he's getting fired. Now, if you want to sit there and talk about Mike Kafka, that's a horse of a different color. With the firing of Ken Dorsey in Buffalo, you would kind of think that Kafka would be on the outs. Kafka should have been on the outs last year, and I love it because Northwestern's looking for a head coach again. They just brought in an interim head coach, and it cracks me up because people are like, "Well, he's going to go to Northwestern." What body of work does Mike Kafka have that is sitting here and allowing people to think that he could be the head coach anywhere? I mean, seriously, think about this for a minute. What in what bizarro world do you want to bring in a head coach who has one of the last ranked offenses the last 2 years in the NFL, made Daniel Jones an average quarterback, but in some unknown, godly, bizarro world, he's going to be the head coach at Northwestern? Twitter fucking makes my head hurt. I've said this before. It makes my head hurt. Zack Attack says, what do you say, Zack Attack? Ken Dorsey should be coaching the MAC. He should be coaching Pop Warner. They all should. They all should be coaching Pop Warner, except for Wink and Dable. Kafka was not ready for prime time. We talked about this. And it's funny that we really haven't seen a speculation of him getting fired. He has a worse offense, even worse than Jason Garrett. And Jason Garrett got shit canned middle of the season. We saw Freddie Kitchen do a wonderful job. And we sit here and we wonder, why is Kafka still even here? Brian Dable can call the plays. Is it for continuity? I still think it's for continuity. What does Talk with Zoe have to say? John Mara is keeping DJ, isn't he, Tim? We will skip out on the all-time quarterback to select some bum next year, and our suffering will continue. Here's the thing I think about with John Mara. I keep seeing these things that were posted on Twitter, and I think it was a podcast about talking about how John Mara is going to keep all this, going to keep this going, and this, and this, and going to keep doing this. If you're following someone that's giving you information from a podcast that really has never had accurate information before, why would you believe it? just throwing that out there. Why would you even consider believing it? Do I think John Mara is a meddling owner? Oh yeah, I think he meddles way too much in the Giant affairs. 100%, I think he meddles too much. Do I think he would, if the Giants were to the point that they received the first overall pick, do I think that they would pass on Caleb Williams? No. If the Giants get that first overall pick, I do not see them passing on Caleb. Now, if they fall later into the draft, according to NFL players. I know Pro Football Focus, Joe. We're going to get to that. According, hey, Captain, what's up, Adam? And you want to go with a Roth IRA. You don't want to go with a 401k. The difference is the difference is you can actually control your Roth IRA a little bit, and you can actually do it where you're not taking as much as much of a risk, and also the tax implications that if you want to remove your money early is a lot less of a penalty in the Roth IRA. So a lot of times there's not a penalty difference between that and 401k. But I always tell people go with the Roth IRA because the fact that you control the taxes, and you can also have it so you're not sitting there worrying about if you need to remove the money, if there will be a penalty. But like I said, giving tax advice now too. I do everything. I do tax advice. I build birdhouses. I don't really build birdhouses. That just sounded cool. Now, if the Giants fall into the top 5, let's say they fall around 4, then they might do something stupid and take an offensive lineman. And I love it because I keep seeing Carl Banks say, that you can't do that. You have to take an offensive lineman because you can't have a quarterback if you don't have a great offensive line. What do you think, Carl? I think you're right, Tim. Here's the problem with this thought process. Joe Burrows didn't have an offensive line, took his team to the Super Bowl. The Duck had a terrible offensive line his first couple of years in LA, and first San Diego, then LA. CJ Stroud does not have a great offensive line. Eli Manning's offensive line was horrid in 2011. I think they won a Super Bowl or something, even though he almost got himself killed in San Francisco. So yeah, if you have a generational talent at quarterback, if I have a generational talent at quarterback sitting in front of me and I have Daniel Jones, I'm going to have to go generational quarterback. I think there will be a revolt if the Giants go a different direction. Brian Dable says, is Brian Dable return to Alabama? No, Brian Dable's not going. He's not going to Alabama. He's going to stay in the pros. My biggest concern is this: Sean McDermott gets fired in Buffalo. Buffalo calls up the Shane and says, is Brian Dable available? And they say, Brian Dable says, yes, I am available because I want to go work with Josh Allen again. And we're going to get to the stupid Josh Allen rumors too. We're going to get to that as well. But I'm more concerned that he could end up in Buffalo. Blazin, what does Blazin say? What does Brazen say? Kafka wasn't ready for off time. Forget prime time. Kafka was just a bad hire. I remember when they hired him. You guys can go back and watch the videos. I remember when they hired him. The first thing I said when we hired Kafka was, I think this is a mistake. You're bringing in a guy with no off. And I said this before, and I said it with, I should rephrase it. I said it with a caveat. If he is going to do what they did in Kansas City with Eric Bieniemy, those first couple of years in Kansas City with Eric Bieniemy, he installed the offensive game plan during the week, his first 2 seasons. And then Andy Reid called the plays during the game. And he did that for the first 2 years. And in that last Super Bowl that they won, Bieniemy actually called the plays and had been calling the plays all the years for about the last 2 years now. And I said that if they do the same thing, if Kafka installs the offensive game plan and Dable calls the plays during the week, you can go back and watch the videos. I've said this before. I thought that would be a good plan. I thought that would be a good way to grow Kafka. People seem to forget there were people that wanted to fire Kafka and have Wink call the plays mid-season last year. It's not like we had a juggernaut of an offense. Well, your quarterback barely throws for 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. There's something very wrong here. And then we don't get any better. We get worse the next year after you add Waller and Hyatt and bring back Slayton and Wanda Robinson comes back and you have a healthy Saquon Barkley and we get worse. There's something very wrong there. Zach says, according to NFL players, Pro Football Focus is a joke. We know that. We've been saying that forever. I already answered your IRA question, Mr. Matumbo, Captain Admiral Matumbo. What do we got here? Why not get Mac Jones or Jerry Jeudy or both that coach them both? He coached them in Alabama. Mac Jones you don't want. Jerry Jeudy you can't get because there's this little thing. We don't like to talk about it. There's this little thing we don't like to talk about. It's called the salary cap. And what happened this year was we ran out of money and we had to trade Leonard Williams because of the fact that we did not have any cap space or operational cap space even to add people onto the roster, which is one of the reasons why we had to trade Leonard Williams. But yeah, so these trades that everyone always wants to make. And listen, I'm one of these guys that if we had an opportunity to make a trade, if we had an opportunity to get someone good, I would be all for it if we were giving up minimal assets. But the problem is this: if you're not giving up minimal assets and you're sitting there and you don't have the cap space, it's just not going to work. And it just kills me that all these people, we're going to make this trade. No, watch the cap space. If you don't watch the cap space, it's not going to do us any good if you're going to make a trade when you can't afford the person under the cap. So you want to go out and people want to go out, and I'm not saying you, but in general, but I'm saying people want to go out and get Jerry Jeudy. But the problem is, if you can't afford Jerry Jeudy, and it doesn't do you any good, if you can't fit him under the cap and fill the 53-man roster. There you go, Zach. I saw that. Wait, I don't know what's going on my computer today. Something's going on my computer today. I don't know what's going on with the computer today. Computer's gone all nutty today. But that's where we're at with that. Hold on. Let's see what else we got here. What do we got here? Draft Williams, trade back for, and appreciate the life advice as well. Well, you always have to have life advice. But like I said, the Roth IRA is much better than a 401k. Yes, at times, especially if you do it with your company, you're not going to get the match option, but it gives you more flexibility and more controllability on your what you call it? on your savings account. Oh God, I got nothing working here. By the way, Tim is live from Hawaii. I tried to put up the Hawaii background, it's not working. Let's see here. Oh, it's because I don't have the green screen up. Duh. A pimp name's like the report from John Mara being stubborn is not wanting to draft a quarterback. I think is real, but he won't do anything about it. Why? Because if he steps on Joe Shane from drafting a quarterback, he'll lose the fans. I agree. I don't. Yes. Let's rephrase it this way. I think a owner, especially like someone like Jerry Jones, has their finger on the scale all the time. But I don't think that John Mara, and don't forget, there's also someone named Bob Tisch, who's also owner. I don't think the Tisches would, if we got to that situation, would allow John Mara not to pick someone like Caleb Williams. Now, like I said, if we fall out of the top 5, then there's a different story. But here's the problem that you're going to have. Daniel Jones is probably not going to be ready till November, earliest. So what, you're going to be 9 games into the season starting Tommy DeVito? You can't, or you're going to go out and pay for a quarterback? It doesn't make sense. All this doesn't make sense. If you look at this from a logical football perspective, and a lot of times owners are not logical, but if you look at this from a logical football perspective, you would take the best and you got to start your team with something. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. You have to start your team from the ground up, and the best way to do that is with the franchise quarterback. And I would rather risk 5 years of Caleb Williams than year 6 and 7 of Daniel Jones, when we already know what 6 and 7 is going to look like because we've seen it 1 through 5. And I think you're 100% right. I think you'll lose the fan base. Is Israel expansion, isn't Israel's expansion been going on since 1970s? No. You want to go back to it was in the 1940s that the United Nations wanted to divide up Israel with the Muslims, and the Muslims decided that they actually didn't want to have a 2-state solution, and they literally attacked what is now Israel all the way up to Tel Aviv before they were stopped by the Israelis. And then the United Nations again tried to evenly divide the territory known as Israel, and it was all or nothing. And they actually left in 2005 Israel, and it's been under Palestinian control since then. Oh, okay. What are your thoughts on Drake May? Listen, I like Drake May just as much. Okay, listen. Okay. Drake May is a guy. It kind of reminds me of Kenny Pickett. I think he's a guy that's ready. I think he's a guy that could step in. I think he has I think he has a little bit more Josh Allen-esque in him than Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is a entirely different talent. I think you're not going to go wrong with Drake May, but I think for the situation, I think a lot of times what's going to happen is I think if you go down the Drake May route, the Giants may look at it and say, well, he does a lot of things similar to Daniel Jones. And we already have Daniel Jones. So I get a little concerned with that. But like I said, I would not be upset with Drake May. If we went Drake May, I would not be upset. I would not be. Don't forget the like button, says James Williams. I would not cry for me Argentina over it. But I think that if Caleb wasn't around and they did draft an offensive lineman, they can say, the Giants, that, well, Caleb was our guy and he wasn't there. So we went with the next best player on our board. Brian Dable wouldn't draft an O-line first because that's how Nick Saban taught him to view offenses. Well, you got to remember, Brian Dable comes from the factor that they had made the playoffs back in Buffalo with Tyrod Taylor. And they didn't draft a quarterback. I mean, they didn't draft an offensive lineman that year. And they didn't have the greatest offensive line that year in Buffalo. They took a quarterback. They took a quarterback in Josh Allen. I think that worked out pretty well. Who would Dable replace Kafka with? If he replaced him this year, you think he would replace him with himself. The only thing that's bugging the shit out of me about Brian Dable, I don't know if he's losing a grip on reality or he's just ignoring the problems. Like when he heard the presser, we did the video on Monday. He heard the presser with him and he's like, well, you know, the reporter's like, well, what about what happened on the sidelines? What happened on the sidelines? You know, the dust up between Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard. Well, nothing happened there. Normal stuff. But you had to go over there and talk him down. No, I didn't. Well, what about what happened with you and Wink? What happened with me and Wink? Well, there seemed to be you seem to have a long conversation with him. There seemed to be a little issues. Well, no, there's no issues. Normal in-game stuff. And that Troy Aikman, I think it was Troy Aikman, pointed out that there seemed to be a little bit more going on there. And he was like, well, no, just normal stuff. And he's like, and then it comes up, well, what happened with Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley seemed to be very adamant when he came up. No, nothing. It's like, dude, why are you gaslighting me? We can all see it. Some shit's going down. In the Whole Foods parking lot. Fun fact. Well, I like fun facts. Brian Dable is the one who brought in Tua, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones to Alabama. Yeah, I knew that, actually. New York Giants choose and draft not one of them. I agree. I need someone to go to Mayor's email, air his dirty laundry, which makes him sell the team. He's becoming Kevin. He's becoming James Dolan 2.0. He really is. What's up, Kevin? Hey, Tim, I've seen reports that Meyer might first trying to build around DJ. I can't take. Where are these reports coming from? Where are these wonderful reports coming? Are these reports coming from beat writers? Or are these reports coming from other YouTubers? That's what I want to know. Because nobody knows what's going to go on next year because we're not even through this season yet. And I doubt John Mayer is going to a beat writer and saying, I just want to tell you this. Just don't listen. Don't tell anyone. We're going to build around Daniel Jones next year. I doubt severely that John Mayer is doing that. It seems to be like it's more idiocy created either by social media or Giants YouTube. You want me to be honest? You want me to be honest? That's what I'm going to be honest. I want someone to go. I already got that one. Let's see here. Wait, so the O-line is so bad to draft a quarterback, but not good enough when you already paid Daniel Jones $160 million. Whoa, Bob just dropped some knowledge on that one. I mean, seriously, we can't draft. Our line sucks so bad that we gave Daniel Jones $160 million, but it's so bad we can't drop a rookie quarterback. Oh, dear, Bob. You know what you get? You drop the knowledge bomb. KT5 is the king of the almost pick. I like that. Talking with Zoe says, what did he say? So if he doesn't allow Shane to draft the guy, I think there's a real possibility of losing both the general manager and head coach. At this point, it would be really hard to qualify for a quality GM and get quality GM and coaches. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you this. If Colin Cowherd said on the show. It doesn't mean anything. I'm going to tell you this. If the Giants are sitting number 1 overall, or let's say they're sitting 2, and the team above them does not take Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is sitting right in front of them, like Josh Allen was, the linebacker, not the quarterback, is sitting right in front of him, and they pass on Josh Allen, and either trade down or take a wide receiver or an offensive lineman, I quit. I quit. I'm done. I'll just work on my next podcast. Because that tells me they don't want to win. That tells me we are going to sit in this abyss for another 10 years. Because they're not serious about winning. Timothy says, Tim, should the Bears trade up to get the Bears number 1 pick and select Williams first overall? First of all, what's going to happen is the Giants might beat out the Bears. I don't know if the Giants are going to win another game. I heard this from New Jersey media. Believe Steve Tisch is telling Mara that they're bleeding money because people are tired of paying for the pathetic product. I know I am. I'm a season ticket holder. And I've kind of reached a point where I'm just like done. I'm done. I got to go to the game, the New England game, because I promised I'm going to meet somebody there. But it's like, I don't want to see this garbage anymore. Kevin honestly says, I think we need an actually smart person in between Mayor and the GM, like a proven football mind as president of football operations. The drop of common sense after the coach is too steep. Because the Maras are resting on their laurels. We've always talked, and don't forget to guys, we've always talked about the fact that when after the miracle in the Meadowlands, when Joe Pisarcik with the ill-advised handoff to Larry Zonka, Herm Edwards takes it in. And we've talked about the story, how it's been mistold by so many people. And we tell it correctly here that that Wellington Mara went to Pete Rozelle and said, recommend a young guy who can be the GM and handle all football operations. Because I'm stepping back. And he told him, well, the kid out of Baltimore, and George Young, even when he was a young kid, looked like he was 197. He said, the kid out of Baltimore, George Young, is a guy you should look at. And George Young was not forced upon the Giants. He asked if who should run his team. And it came up to be George Young. And George Young, of course, led the Giants to the 2 Super Bowls, drafted Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms, Carl Banks, Leonard Marshall, Jim Burt. The list just goes on and on of guys, and Mark Bavaro, guys that, that could just keep going on and on and on. And he rebuilt the organization because Wellington was smart enough to just step away. James Dolan, for all of his stupidity, thought he was smart enough to turn over the reins to Phil Jackson and say, listen, Phil, I've screwed this team up enough. I've screwed up enough. You run with it. You fix all this. Didn't fix it. Didn't work out too well because Phil was a little bit more interested in surfing and being with his girlfriend than he was, being the next general manager and team president. So to your point, I think you're right. I think the Giants need someone in a president of football operations who oversees everything and kind of go from there and put this back together again, because it just doesn't make sense why you keep running the same circles over and over again since 2011, and we've made the playoffs twice since 2011, and we've had these horrid seasons in between. We say it all the time. There's something very wrong here. James says, hit that like button. What's that, brother? James, hop on the mic. Zach Attack's running this show like with an iron fist. If the Giants draft Penix, do we switch Neal and Thomas since Penix is left-handed? That's actually a really good question. No, because I think if Neal still is having all of his issues, I think what you do is you move him to guard. As you truly move his ass to guard. If he's still having all these issues, you move his ass to guard. because we can't keep dealing with these issues. We can't keep taking these offensive linemen so high or just taking offensive linemen, at will and then not having them produce. James Williams says Dable has the team on the cruise control until the draft. He's checked out, man. I think he has checked out. I really do. I really do think Brian Dable, some of his answers are just, we always talked about it before. Pat Shermer was very truculent with the media. Dable had a little Parcellian Belichickian in him last year when he was winning. And I've said it before, winning makes everything okay. I always think of the movie Bull Durham with Nuke LaLoosh, and Crash Davis is sitting there in front of Nuke's locker, and he finds his shower sandals, and they got fungus on them. And he showed us and said, look at this. You act classy, you are classy, you be classy. And he goes, you can't have fungus on your shower shoes. And he goes, if you are in the pros and you win 20 games, then you can have fungus on your shower shoes because that will make you colorful. And he goes, but now it just makes you a slob. So it's the same thing when Dable's trying to now be Belichickian, it kind of more of it comes off being an asshole than it does anything else. Because winning takes that away. Winning thinks when you're winning, it's colorful. Now it just makes you look like a dickhead. Greg Olson, not Troy Aikman. Thank you, Zach Attack. I appreciate it. Luke says the change in Dable's behavior, it is baffling. It is baffling, and it is kind of distressing. Hey, what's up, Roy? Peace and blessings to the chat. Go Giants, old school content creator. I'm an old school content creator. I'm old. I'm old. Talkman says, I don't want to think a colossal collapse in New York media is no joke. We all saw what happens when Judge went on his epic rant. It got him fired. I worry about that. I worry about that as well. Like I said, I don't think they're going to fire Dable. I don't think they're going to fire Shane. But we also didn't think they were going to fire Joe Judge. I was calling for them to fire Joe Judge, but we didn't think they was going to fire him until he went crazy. Until literally he went batshit crazy. And that's when they fired him. And so you have to worry about it. Pimp says reports not real. It's from the Talking Giants YouTube guy. The guy claims one of Mayor's golf buddies gave him a tip. Then that's just full of shit. If that's the case, if it's from a YouTube channel, they're fucking morons. No one's going to tell Mara's golf. No wonder we were voted the stupidest fan base. I'm turning red. Mara is not going to go to his friend, his golfing buddy, and sit there and say, hey, I think I'm going to keep Daniel Jones, and I'm not going to draft Caleb Williams, and I'm going to go out. I fucking hate people. It's for the clicks, the likes, the bleeps, and the boosts. If that's the case, Pimp Name Slickback, I hope you're wrong, because if that's the case, I fucking hate people. Because that's just, again, a disservice. A golfing buddy told me. He's not going to tell a golfing buddy. And then the golfing buddy's not going to turn around and tell a YouTuber, because then he's not going to be a buddy anymore with Mara. People are morons. If that's the case, hopefully that's the case, because you got me going off on a tyrant on these assholes. I don't know who the hell they are, but they're going to put in stupid information and call it information. What is from a golfing buddy? Okay, tell me the golfing buddy. Let's go talk to the golfing buddy. Because you really think a billionaire and John Mara is going to tell his golfing buddy what he's going to do with the New York Giants? Oh, dear Lord. I'm not passing anything by this regime. Colin Cowherd said it on his show, I believe. Okay, well, Pimp Name Slickback is saying this. What's up, my friend? What's going on, my brother? Everything's going good. Yard Barker, not sure if it was up on the up and up. I don't know who Yard Barker is. Didn't Art Stapleton write that some people in the building believe in Daniel Jones? Yeah, they're always going to say that. I actually appreciate the honesty. Well, we're full of honesty. A lot of people say we're full of shit, but we're also full of honesty. Michael says, Tim, you're concerned that Caleb might be a diva wanting part ownership with an NFL team. Listen, if he can get me some wins, he could be the biggest diva. I've already said this. I would rather have an asshole who could read defenses than a nice guy. I don't care if Caleb Williams comes in here wearing Lee press-on nails. If he could chuck the rock 70 yards on a dime to Hyatt and score some points, I don't care. He wants part ownership of a car dealership? Let him have it. Generational talent is something, the key word, generational, that you find in a generation. And he knows he's a generational talent. Blazin says, if the Giants don't pick a quarterback with a first-round pick, I'm done. I'm divorcing them faster than Nick's and my second wife. Hey-oh. Happy birthday, Blue Chat. Never fear. OGR is here. Blazin says, nah, Kevin, they aren't that smart to get a smart person. George Young set the bar, says Luke. Petra, how are you doing, my brother? How's it going? Everything's going well. Hope you're doing well. We got RFFD in the house. Says Caleb just screams immaturity worse than KT5, Ruben Randall, Mayfield combined. Danny DeVito, and yes, I still call him Danny DeVito. Mommy still makes his bed and cooks for him. The Giants need, drumroll please, Steve Cohn. Yeah, they kind of do, but we got a billionaire. Also, why is the Belichick agenda being pushed so much? Because of the fact that we never got Parcells. Parcells, after 90, when he walked away because of health issues, and then he decided he was going to come back, he went to the Jets. And then after he went to the, after the health issues, he went to the Patriots. Then he went to the Jets. Then he went to the Cowboys. Then he went to Miami. He never made the triumphant return back to Mecca. And I think that's why people are pushing so hard to get this information. Chris Mara has been promoted in 2011 to the Senior Vice President of Player Personnel and received his current title in 2022. In position, Mara evaluated both quarterbacks and professional players, OGR Sports. Tim said, what would be, talk was us. So what would be the perfect offseason for you, Tim? We draft a quarterback. Get out from underneath this freaking fiasco known as Daniel Jones, even though we are going to owe him $68 million. And he's not going to play more than 7 games next year. We get out of that $20 million nut, $25 million nut we got from him in 2025, and we progress. We show something. Because right now, we're not showing anything. Don't forget to hit the like button. Get up to 40 likes. RF says, I think the whole team checked out once Tyrod and DJ both went down. They had a lot of fight with him with Tyrod, and they were kind of bleh with DJ, but DJ went down. The whole team, so F this. I agree. I 100% agree. What's up, Chris? Join in late? That's okay. Maybe you're early. Mike Lee says, hey, Mike Lee, look how good the O-line came after Tyrod started. Tyrod was not the O-line improvement. It was not the O-line improvement. Tyrod Taylor just got rid of the ball faster. Carl Baggins, he was just better at running for his life. Oh, is anyone else getting sick of Carl? I know I am. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Let's see. Jesus, forget Max Jones. What the blank? Let's see. Don't want either Caleb or Penix. Don't want Bo Nix. Don't want Jared. Look how good along with Jalen Daniels. I like Jalen Daniels as well. He's been that fast riser. There's always a fast riser on the draft. Now, Jalen Daniels been in the league. Been in college, I think, for 5 years. I think this is his 5th year. So he's got experience. He's got starting experience. He's put up big numbers. He had 600 plus yards last week? He had 600 yards both rushing and passing and rushing. I'd like to see more of him, but he is a guy that's a fast riser. Would I take him first overall? Probably not. But if the Giants were in a situation where maybe they traded out of the top 5 because of the fact that that Caleb was taken, and they get a shot at Jalen down later in the draft, and they pick up an additional one, I wouldn't be upset. The Giants record 100 games, 32-67-1. Something has to change. That's the same. I think we're still either tied for the Jets. I think we're still tied with the Jets. Talking Giants are D4 O-lineman and his friend who played Madden. Oh, okay. Well, luckily the golfing buddy knows these guys. James says, hit the like button. What do we got here? The next 2 games are the most concerning number 1 and number 2 picks because Washington always finds a way to lose with us, and the Patriots look like they've been tanking so hard as the Giants. You know what's sad? I think we're going to get wrecked in Washington, and I think we're going to get wrecked against New England at home. Unless Tyrod Taylor comes back. Tommy DeVito, you can love him for the story because he's a great story. He's not an NFL quarterback. XFL, maybe. USFL, Possibly. Arena, could buy that. He just does not have. He's got too big of a windup. Does not have the arm strength. He does have some mobility, but he's not a guy that you want starting for an extended period of time. Clipboard holder, down with that. People just keep saying anything nowadays. Love to you, Tim, because you keep being you. Let's go, G-Man. I do keep being me. I love it because I had I've been emailing we got potentially have a couple new sponsors coming on board, and we've been and I was also emailing with a person that's a specialist in enhancing and gaining viewerships and memberships for like YouTube and stuff and getting more views and things. And one of the things they emailed me on their chart was you need to be more positive and you need to give more of a positive spin on things, because that's what people want. People don't want the truth. They want positivity. I was like, fuck you. Paler, I said, how do you feel? Oh, Jalen, we talked about Jalen. Like I said, I'd like to see a little bit more, like see him in the combine, like come in for a visit a little bit. He is a guy, like I said, he's been in college football for I think 5 years. I want to say 5 years. I want to say that, and I could be wrong. Zach Attack was. Am I right? Am I right about that? Has he been in the league for 5 years now? I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to go through my notes. I know he bounced around a little bit. I know he went, let's see. He started at Arizona State, and I know he actually started in Arizona State in 2019. So I was right about that. Petro says, would you draft Marvin Harrison with the first pick? No, I don't want Bo Nix. Nope, don't want Bo Nix. Nope, don't want him. Don't want him. Too much Bo Callahan. Don't want him. And Penix, I do worry about Penix and the injuries. I do worry about that a little bit. Joe Rev, what's up, Tim? Hey, Tim, what's up? Heard that from my gym buddies that Eli is coming back. He knows Eli's personal trainer. Is he a golf buddy? Should we do a podcast? Joe Rev, we're going to do a podcast tomorrow because you want to know why? That sounds like that story sounds true. If you want to be YouTube famous, if you want to be popular, like on a podcast or something, actually go out and find information. Just don't make shit up. What's up, Mr. Alvarez? My dream would be Caleb Williams, Franklin, Bullock, Guyton. Wow, you got everyone there. I like actually Rice. I do like Rice, the wide receiver. If the Giants draft Jalen Daniels, you keep Tyrod Taylor because he's a perfect mentor. I actually agree with that. Like I said, I'm not Jaden Daniels. I am not one of those guys that I'm not dismissive of him. I mean, he has talent. He's shown he has the ability. The problem is the fact that he's got the ability right now at LSU, where I think a lot of people can succeed at LSU at quarterback. Because of the talent they have, in some regards, they almost have pro-like talent. And I've always said this before. I always felt that, he played 3 years at Arizona State. He started 12 games he was in 12 games as a freshman, 4 games his second year, 13 games his third year, had 14 games at LSU in 2022 and 10 games right now in 2023. Thrown for complete 71% of his passes, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3,164 yards. I don't know what his rushing totals are. I mean, like I said, he's had a big game. He's an interesting prospect. And I think at 6', the only thing I don't like about him is he's a little slight of build at 6'3. And I also don't know if he's real 6'3 or college 6'3, because there's a difference. But I know he's listed right now 185. So that's a little. At 6'3", 185, that's a little slight of build. You could bulk up, but I'm like I said, I'm not against it yet. Todd Taylor says Tommy Touchdown is about to have an epic run. Stop the hate. Haters gonna hate. I always bring in a little Taylor Swift because that's very popular right now. I learned that also from this person that's a specialist in increasing popularity of YouTube channels. I don't want to be popular. I want to be me. George Young was a brilliant football man. I agree. Tommy DeVito is Jake Fromm with a better arm, and that ain't saying much because Fromm had a wet noodle of his arm. Doc Bizzo says, we have the worst record in the NFL over that time period. I prefer realistic football talk than pom-pom waving. I agree. Todd says, I'll say this, the Goofs 5 to 6 years in the college, better than a lot of degrees and something. Lol, that's true, but it's interesting. Zack Attack says, I heard from a local butcher that the Jets are trading DJ and giving the Giants the first round pick and Daniel Jones. What, we should make a video about it. Quick. Set up a podcast, Zack Attack. Swing Culture, what's up, my brother? Hope everything's going well. Hope the move and everything, it's like you're living life, living large. Blessing Tim's full tank mode. Let's get these pieces needed to build a competitive team. I agree. Sublight says, not sold on Caleb, not sold on any of them, nor Daniel Jones either. This is no quarterback for us. Do we really need one? Yes. Football. Hit the like button. Get to 40 likes. It's a little easier to play football when you have a quarterback. it makes it a little easier. I got my phone. It makes it slightly easier. Hold on, I got it, guys. Sure. I'm typing something here. It makes it easier. It's a lot more fun. And when you have a guy that can matriculate the ball down the field and make the plays needed, then at the end of the day, yeah, we need a quarterback. And I laugh because people are like, well, if Daniel Jones was here during these rest of these games of the season, we'd be so much better. How many games did we win with Daniel Jones in the lineup? We've won just as many games with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor had less games to win and less times to win games. So what does that tell you? Let's see here. As usual, Giant fans, being Giant fans, this is Jones and Mara start thing from Ralph Facciano reported almost a week ago. Wait, I thought it was from my golfing buddy. Oh, my God. John Mara could be the quarterback. Ask me, says. Why not? I'm thinking I want to play. Can I play? I've said it before. I'm going to sit. I posted a picture on Twitter where I said, I am literally going to sit on the Giants bench until they allow me to play. Because at this point in time, why not? What do you got to lose? And that's why I don't understand why there's such an apprehensive. Well, maybe I understand it. There's such an apprehension in reference to starting Barkley. I mean, Barkley could potentially be the guy that could come in and maybe win you some games. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess people don't want to win. And I kind of laugh about that because it just seems so idiotic that you have a guy that's somewhat of a professional quarterback sitting there. And your game plan is going to be, hell, I'm gonna keep throwing out Tommy DeVito. I'm not sure I get that philosophy from Shane. And I've said it a million times before. I'm not here to get it. I'm just here to ask questions. And that's my biggest question. I mean, why would you not just give Barkley's now been in the building for 3 weeks. He's been a starter before. Has he played well enough? Has he been well enough as a starter? No, not really. I mean, I think in some regards he's shown when he was over with the Bears that he is kind of what he is. But at the end of the day, I do think he is a guy that could come in and show a little life to this team. Well, you got lots of files, each brand. What are you talking about? Tell me I got a lot of files. Please delete some more before uploading. Oh, dear Lord. I swear. I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, why does this? I don't understand that. Sometimes I don't get YouTube. Listen, I blame Zach. I wasn't doing a live stream today. He made me do a live stream today. I laughed because I did the video Daniel Jones, head coach killer. And Big Don sent me this from a chat. Thought that I mean, not the highest quality, but it was in a chat that he was in, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world when Big Don sent me that. I'm like, okay, I like that. Let's see here. Jaden Daniels accounted for 606 yards total offense, 5 touchdowns, became the first quarterback in FBS history to have at least 350 pass yards, 200-yard rushings in a game as 19 ranked LSU defeated Florida. Screw it, Tim. Let's run the Wildcat on every play. If you're going to run the Wildcat, I'm in. Mr. Roberts says, also, did it go last year when the first half of the season when the schedule was tough? Oh, yeah, that's right. The record was almost 500. Asami says, only the giant thing might be focusing on maximizing assets, trade everyone that has value, and can help your rebuild. If you were going to do that, you were going to trade a lot of people to trade deadline. We didn't move anybody. Really don't know why, but we did not move anybody. Cool dude says, yo, Tim, anyone tell you that you look like Chip Kelly with a neck? No disrespect, of course. No, never tell me I look like Chip Kelly. I didn't get that. Let me look up Chip Kelly. I know when he was the Eagles coach. I don't remember what he looked like. Everyone amuse yourselves. I'm looking up Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly. No, I don't think I look like Chip Kelly. Let me see. No, I don't really see it. That one I don't see. But that's okay. I could be Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's the head coach, isn't he still? Zacatech says, a quick search of my comments. The DJ was pretty consistent. Ownership has never mentioned a single word. I speak with Bob Papa, the players, and the organization. There you go. You know who we got that from? Directly from our big source. Carl Banks. Yeah, big Carl Banks gave us that as a source. Let's see. I want them to bring back Barkley, let him sit on the bench now so we can stay healthy for next year. I already said if I was Saquon Barkley, I'm grabbing my hamstring. Oh, my hamstring. Oh, I think it hurts a little bit. Luke says, we've hit bottom when you have to gain by losing. Sorry if anyone behind the Fiend. Sorry to ask him this late, but if Buffalo keeps bombing and we have 2 top picks and try to trade for Allen, I mean, that's Dable's point. They're not trading. They're not. They're not trading Josh Allen. They're not trading I know it's fun. It's fun to talk about. It is fun to talk about trading for someone like Josh Allen, but your problem is going to be this. Josh Allen's got a $47 million Josh Allen has got a $99 million dead cap number. $99 million. That's almost $100 million dead cap number in 2025. He's got a $52 million dead cap number in 2024. That is. He's got a $52 million dead cap number in 2025. So that would mean they would need to incur almost $140 million in dead cap space over 2 years, which would be averages $70 million in dead cap space, not to mention the $19 million in dead cap space he's owed in 2026. Josh Allen ain't going nowhere. I mean, the goofs on FA Floor. How? I know in Madden, and I'm not making fun of you behind the Fiends. I'm not making fun of you. Not 100%. I know in Madden, you can clear the salary cap. We can't do that. We can't do that in real life. You can't just sit there and hit the go to the settings menu under franchises and clear salary cap. Oh, Daniel the Reaper Jones. I like that better. You know what? I like that better than Danny Dimes. The goofs on FAN flood the Josh Allen trade. I didn't make Tim do a live stream. I suggested it. You made me do a live stream. You made me. You made me feel guilty. You made me feel guilty for being lazy. Zach has a whole schedule for live streams for me. Whole schedule. And it was great because I literally had to text him back and say, how about a day off? Behind the Fiend says, I know, stupid question about Allen, but I heard Tiki talking about it yesterday. I like I said, I don't blame you behind the Fiends. I don't blame you. I'm not saying, I'm not saying it's a stupid question, because the fact that a golfing buddy told me that John Mara is going to force the Giants to keep Daniel Jones. And that's a joke about some people that did a video about keeping Daniel Jones because a golfing buddy told them Mara was going to do it. So I'm not making fun of you, my friend. Mr. Alvarez says, I'm the Giants. I'm treating the rest of the season like a preseason and just start seeing what the team has. Zach says, do you think the Bills try to trade for Dable and to reunite with Josh Allen? I do think that. I said Wednesday. I do think that. I still think that if they get rid of Sean McDermott and they want to move forward with somebody, and they want to keep someone to come back in, I think Josh Allen's hurt. If you really want me to get down to the nitty gritty, I think Josh Allen's hurt. I don't think it's Dable. He didn't really have much of a difference statistically from last year with Dable not being there. I think this year there's just something not right with him. And I don't know if I mean, they'll never say, but is there a physical ailment that is causing him to somewhat mentally not be at where he should be at? I kind of think, I wonder about that. Zach said, I said Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. No, you said Sunday, Monday. Oh, I said Tuesday, Wednesday off. It's just Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturdays off. Someone's got to keep me on schedule. Let's see. The idiots on WM have the worst suggestions. They're floating trading for Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's why would you trade for Bill Belichick? He's getting fired. They are going to move on from the Belichick. They are going to Belichick has reached his point in New England that it's kind of turning out that Tom Brady was maybe the reason and rationale behind everything that's going on. No, I got better hair, Chip Kelly. I think it's the reason and rationale. So I think at this point in time, I don't think they're going to be heading towards that route. Mr. Albert, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Mr. Albert says, does anyone know a good OC replacement for Kafka? Let's see here. What is going on here with my thing? All right. I don't know what's going on here. Something is literally going on like crazy here with my computer. Okay, there we go. Now I'm back around. Does anyone know a good OC replacement once Kafka is gone? Because I can't even think of anyone. I can't think of anyone either. You got Brian Dable. Let Brian Dable do an Andy Reid. Let him call his plays. Have someone install the offices during the week so he can do other head coaching responsibilities and have him call the plays. I still, for the life of me, don't get why we didn't take the calls on Barkley to trade him as well as Waller. Waller was hurting with the hamstring. Just a couch GM, but I would move on from both of them and get picks this year and the future. I agree. I would have done that. Joe Rev says, Tim, same gym buddy said he also knows that in Buffalo that they know Josh Allen's trainer and a guy who studied accounting in high school, and they said the trade is very doable.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh. For those that are tuning in late, evidently there was a podcast today by some YouTubers that no, that was the what you call it. That was the Giants that a golfing buddy told these YouTubers that Mara told his golfing buddy that they were keeping Daniel Jones, and evidently they did a whole podcast on it. They did a whole podcast on it. Yeah, because that's what golfing buddies do. I could still see Mara for. Oh, listen, I'm keeping Daniel Jones. Just don't tell anybody except some YouTubers. Josh Allen has a soldier and he's been playing through. He's gone into the blue tent for the shoulder injury. I didn't know that. What's up, Giant 34? I did not know that. Chip Kelly is bizarro, Tim. Todd says Brian Dable should let Madden programs call the O. Why not? Why not? Put it on auto. Chip Kelly is bizarro, Tim. I like that. The Lean says Byron Leftwich OC talk. Just don't know about some random names. I like Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich was running the show over in Pittsburgh. And I don't know where. Is Byron Leftwich still in Pittsburgh? I don't even remember if he's still in Pittsburgh. But I think I like Byron Leftwich. I remember when they drafted Byron Leftwich in Jacksonville, and I think that, I actually watched him play a lot because I've said it before. I was a Jacksonville Jaguars season ticket holder for a couple of years. You know what cracks me up though? Everyone was talking about when Daniel Jones came, the giant content creators in YouTube was talking about Daniel Jones is such a tough guy. You see him come back and try to throw the ball, and he just crippled to the ground. Did you see that? That's what a tough guy he is. He's Mr. Tough Guy. Byron Leftwich in college at Marshall was playing in a game which they won. He tore up his ankle, and they literally, two linemen literally had to carry him to the next play. They one on each arm. They lifted him up, and they literally had to carry him. So he stayed there, and he still completed passes. But that's a tough guy. He literally had to be carried to the next play, and I actually remember the game that this happened because they had it all over ESPN. He played with it was with a broken leg, and they had to carry him from play to play. Two offensive linemen. It was crazy. Daniel Jones coming in for one play after he tore his ACL. Many people have done that. That is not being a tough guy. That is just coming in and testing and see if you can do it. Byron Leftwich broke his leg. They literally carried him to the next play. He stood in the huddle. They then turned around and basically ran the shotgun from where he stood in the huddle. He threw the ball, and then they carried him to the next play. That's a tough guy. Sorry. That's a tough guy. Josh Allen's shoulder has been jacked up since last year. I think he would be surprised if he's playing through the pain. Tommy DeVito still has lower sack percentages than Daniel Jones. Ace says the more bad seasons that pile up since 2012, the more the starts resemble the wilderness from 64 to 78. Oh, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. And honestly, you got to think about it. It was really from 64 to 81. Because 81 is when the 81 season is when they finally made the playoffs. And that was the whole Sims-Bruner debate. We've talked about that before, but it's more 64 to 70, 64 to, I will say 64 to 80. Big Don dropping in the super chat saying, I didn't know you were doing a live show tonight. Blame Zach. Thank you for the super chat. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. The Fiend says Leftwich was the OC with Brady in Tampa during the Super Bowl years. That's right. That is correct. Byron was in Tampa when he took over for health reasons. I grew up in Ohio and watched Leftwich at Marshall. He was a tough SOB and a beast. But I tell you, though, they literally carried him. And I keep hearing, like I said, well, Daniel Jones is such a tough guy. They picked him up, his offensive lineman, and carried Byron Leftwich to the next play. And he led the team down the field for a game-winning drive. Really have to calm down sometimes. It was Marshall, Louisville. Yeah, that's right. What's up, Big Jeff? What's going on, my brother? Let's see here. The way that Daniel Jones was talking about him, Jones makes me want to vote for him for the center, not for my quarterback. Something like says, I watched Cincinnati, Baltimore, and I missed you being able to play actually NFL people, short to mid-range passes for gains, up-tempo, tacklers, blockers made. I miss football. I 100% agree with you. I do miss football too. You think the part of Daniel Jones going back into the game was him denial about tearing his ACL? I think they wanted to test it because with the torn ACL, I can tell you this from experience. You don't know. When I tore my ACL the second time, it hurt like an SOB. And I stood up and honestly, I sat down for like 10 minutes and I got back up again. And there was no swelling. And I got back up again. And I thought I was fine. I was like, okay, I just tweaked it. I just strained it. And then I turned around and I tried to walk and I walked fine. But then all of a sudden, I've told the story before, I just fell down because of the fact that the ACL controls your lateral movement, which controls your stability in your knee. So I just fell down. And that's when they took me in for X-rays. The X-rays were negative, but except for all the sweat. Actually, I had the MRIs behind me. And then that's when I went for the MRI. And they found out I tore the ACL. But the problem was, I had so much swelling that they didn't do surgery immediately, and I was able to continue to walk on it. And I tell the story that I was in college and I was staying at this apartment with a bunch of guys. And I walked down the steps to go to the laundry room. I got to the second to last step and I just fell because my leg just gave out again. And laundry went everywhere. That happens with an ACL. So sometimes you just have to test the ACL. Why not draft Harrison Jr. and get a quarterback in the second round? Because why not go and get a guy who has the talent to be generational? I didn't know you were live. I'm late. Michael, you are late. Just so that I'm leaving. Just kidding. Mr. Roberts says, Jones is such a great player. He tore his own ACL by smacking his leg out from under himself. And I know it was Evan Neal's fault. Swing Culture remembers that that game as well. Since Tim wants to blame you for this, he will stream all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. Hell no, I'm not streaming all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. The first round is enough. I'm hungry. Let's see. I've been curious as to what Steve Tisch is thinking of all this. He's kind of been on radio silence since then. Tisch gave an edict years back, and I remember this because this is what the judge era, and he basically told Mara, "You don't straighten." This was like now going on 2 years, so it's probably full of shit. He goes, "You don't straighten this shit out. I'm taking over." And he still hasn't. He needs to take. What's up, Kevin? He needs to take over. He needs to turn around. Let's see here. Behind the feed says, I hyperextended my knee when in the Army, and tell you what, the worst pain than my broken wrist as a kid. I cracked my forearm, and I literally cracked it. Like I cracked it right here. I mean, I cracked it, and it was funny though because I drove myself to the hospital because that's just what you're doing. You're a man. And I drove myself to the hospital. And I remember I had to have my arm out the window like this, and it was like December. And so I had to crank down the window. So I got my arm like this hanging out the window. And I laughed because I walked into the emergency room. I sat down. Ow, my elbow hurts. I sat down on the chair in front of the nurse's station. These 2 nurses are having this conversation. And one nurse was like, just 1 minute. Just give us a minute, please. And they finished their conversation. And she looks at me and goes, and what are you here for? And I said, well, I think I broke my arm. And she goes, oh my God, why are you just sitting there? I was like, I don't know. I was letting you finish your conversation. And she goes, how do you know you think you broke your arm? I said, because I lift my arm up like this, and then I couldn't put it down. Draft party at MetLife again, Tim? Yes. Mr. Swing Culture, if you're down to go to the draft party again, we are there. What's up, Fabian? What's going on, my brother? If you want to go to the draft party again, draft party next year, my brother, because we're going to take Caleb. Michael said, did you hear Wink is getting fired rumors? I hope those are fake news. Yeah, it's everyone's on the block. Everyone's on the block. And if anyone's going to get fired first, it's going to be Kafka. Wink, nobody's getting fired. And I saw that report on Twitter. Nobody's getting fired this season. You are so far into the season now, it makes 0 sense to fire anybody. Because I would fire Kafka first, then probably Bobby Johnson, then probably Wink, and then probably Patterson, and then probably the offensive coordinator. All out of hamburger buns. Okay. Give it to him on bread. Try it on bread. What about bread? Yeah, that's what I would do. He's down. Everyone is Fabi says everyone is under the microscope. You're right. Come on, guys, let's get up to 50 likes. 50 likes. I want 50 likes. I don't know why. I want 50 likes. I'm gonna sit here until I get my 50 likes. And we're at 46. I'm not gonna say anything. How's my video doing? There's yes, there is. In the plastic bin. There's some left over. I'm telling you. Caleb Penix, Drake McDaniels, or Joe Alt in trading up. Bobby Johnson is getting promoted to Emperor of Offensive Line. Bobby Johnson never got promoted to anything. I think R0B would his hair would fall out. I think he would fall over. How long have you been on? I've been on all my life, brother. Since 6. We need 3 more likes. Let's go. We're at 51 already. We're good. We're good. I'm happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Also, you could try it on the quesadilla roll. Let's see. What pick do you think the Giants end up with? I'm thinking we end up with, let me see what the draft status is right now. Current NFL draft standings, we'll say. Zach, you should have this already up on the screen. You want to be the producer, you should be producing. I shouldn't be typing things. I'm what they refer to as I'm what they refer to as talent. Current 2024 NFL draft. Let's see here. All right, so let's see here. Where are we at here on the big board? Let's see. We got Chicago right now. We got Chicago and the Giants. We're sitting 2 overall. I think we may end up second. I think worst we might end up as second. Let's see. Beyond the Fiend says, I like Williams as a quarterback, but I wonder about his alleged diva mentality. I like May, but he seems to be take big shots when he scrambles, and his footwork is wonky. I like both of them. I don't have a problem taking either or either or. Let's see here. We are the top 2. I think we're going to stay at 2. I do think we're going to stay at 2. Sublight says, do you think being soft on the starters in the preseason contributed to us looking unprepared in the regular season? I think that does have a lot to do with it. And I do think the fact that since we've gotten away from preseason, people forget preseason used to be 5 preseason games. Then they took it down to 4. Now they've taken it down to 3. Now, when we had the 4 preseason games, the first game you only played your starters for like a series. The second game, you played them into the second quarter. Your third game, you played them all the way into the third. Fourth game, you didn't even start them at all. But so many people are worried about so many injuries and so many other issues that they just don't want to take that chance. But I do think there's an ill preparedness for the start of the season. I always go back to the Bears 3 years ago. They made the playoffs that year, but the problem was they got blown out in the first 4 weeks because they played none of their starters and they played none of their second teamers. They played all scrubs and they looked ill prepared during the start of the season. I think that's happening to a lot of teams, not only the Giants. Orlando says, Tim Carlbanks. Hold on. All right, let's see what Carl Banks says. Carl Banks says we can't draft a quarterback because our offensive lineman sucks, but he's okay with giving DJ $160 million with the same own line. It doesn't make sense. Carl, why doesn't that make sense? Because it just does. It doesn't make sense. You can't you gave a guy $160 million, and now you're saying that you can't draft the guy, even though you're right. You gave a guy $160 million. That really makes 0 sense, Carl. And a good quarterback, Carl should know, will help an offensive line, because we've seen what happened when all of a sudden Daniel Jones was taking 9, 10, 11 sacks a game. Tyrod Taylor comes in, it's like 3. Did the offensive line get better? Did Bobby Johnson all of a sudden find the magic elixir? No, it was the quarterback. Preseason was getting your body game ready. I like Caleb, but I think May would be a better fit. I would be happy with either or. I really would. I love this one. Watch me take the other Duke quarterback, Riley. I will quit. And I've already said, if we have the first overall pick and we pass on Caleb Williams and either trade out or do something stupid, I quit. I'll just focus on the Knicks. Oh, there's what I heard. You know what I hear? And I don't know if people are aware of this, because I heard something that that's going on with the Knicks. And the Knicks are actually playing right now against the Washington Wizards. What is this right here? Tim, when I try to do something, and Zach, you need to just take over this shit, Zach. You should be doing all of this. I shouldn't be doing this. You should be on the stream with me doing this. But I've heard some rumors about the Knicks, and I heard it from a friend of a golf buddy of a plumber. But I hear there's a new podcast called 3&D. The New York Knicks 2023 season, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. So make sure, it was supposed to launch today, but it's actually launching on Monday. It's 3&D, the New York Knicks 2023 season. So make sure that you guys check that out. I'll also post it here on this channel as well. Talking everything New York Knicks basketball, talking everything NBA. Something I've always wanted to do, because of the fact that I've always talked about it before. I love the Giants, but the Knicks have always been my passion. So we're going to see what happens there. They only played Trubisky in 3 preseason games 3 years ago. That's true. At this point, I don't care, because it's been going on for 10 plus years. Figure it the F out. Byron's not in the league. That's right. Byron is out with health issues. Carl Banks is trying to say Burrow's wrist injury was part of the O-line. I'm getting a little sick of Carl Banks. I'm getting real sick of Bob Papa. I'm getting real sick of Carl Banks. I'm getting real sick of their integration into giant Twitter sphere and giant social media. I'm getting a little sick of it. And they want to argue with people. Bob Papa swears him and I have argued before. I met Bob Papa in person a bunch of times. He swears that we've argued before. I even told him, Bob, I've never even texted you. I've never DM'd you. I've never done anything with you on Twitter. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like a red badge of courage now. Pittsburgh needs to fire their OC and hire Leftwich. We're not taking Bo Nix. Jaden Daniels is this year's Jalen Hurts. It could be, actually. It could be. Bob Bappa is on Twitter arguing with fans that they need to be patient. Do they realize anyone under 20 and decent doesn't have any positive memories of the Giants? I've been watching the team for a long time, and I really don't have any positive memories either. Orlando says it's 3-D. That's right. For those that do not know, just remember, starting on Monday, it's going to be 3-D. New York Knicks Bags of Ball, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. It's going to be a podcast. It's going to be a show. We're going to talk everything New York Knicks. It's going to be fun because, like I said, while I love the Giants, the Knicks are my passion. They really are. I love the Knicks. I love basketball. I really love basketball. I just wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I was a baller back in the day. I've told that story a million times before on this channel. Scout from Purdue when I was in high school. I was a 6'1" center. Great skills. He was looking at a guy that actually went on to Division I school at our school, and he came up to me after the game and said, "You know, it's funny. If you were 9 inches taller, we would be scouting you." And I told him, like I always tell, I said, "Well, I'll work on that over the summer." I didn't grow. Behind the scenes says, watching the Giant creator, not gonna say names, said that Daniel Jones' contract is all Dable's fault. How he doesn't sign the checks. Tell us who the name is. Orlando says the real question is, how many years do we give Dable with the new quarterback as far as development? I say a max 2. I agree. The silly season started early. Jeff, you're right. The silly season has started early. Where's Rich Norman? It's his birthday. It's my party. I'll rhyme if I want to. I'm not mistaken. The Papa and Carl Banks work for an organization, so naturally a conflict of interest can exist. And you know what my thing is this? Carl, at times, when he's broadcasting, blatantly tells the truth. And I laugh because he then comes back and kind of walks the shit back. I wish James was on because James does a great Carl Banks. He kind of walks it back then. Almost like he never said it, but he blatantly will tell the truth. And that's what you kind of want. I understand you're going to be a homer because you get paid by the organization, but damn, a little honesty goes a long way. Chris says, Zach, I saw that stupid narrative of the O-line is responsible for Burrows and Matt Corral is the trash offensive coordinator. Are you kidding me? I think he's good. It's all good. Speaking of the Knicks, would you trade Randall? I mean, rock the mic by the Randall. Channel was Chat Now by the Giants. Zach, which one is Chat Now? Giants Now by Chat Sports. Which one is that, Zach Attack? Oh, is that the fucking morons? The guy that looks like he's never pushed away from the table and looks like he never played a sport in his life, that stands there like this with the big ass headphones and goes, "This is the things that are going to happen." I think, Zach, you sent me stuff from that. They're idiots. They just make shit up. Would I trade Randall? Depending on who you're getting. The problem with Randall is he's 28 years old. He has these moments. He said that he was playing with an ankle injury, and the Knicks actually wanted him not to start or not play for those games. And he played, and he probably played to his own detriment. And really, the biggest issues with the Knicks right now is the fact that they never replaced Obi Toppin. And Obi Toppin, I know, had that big 28-point explosion the other night, but he also averaged like 9 points in the first 10 games. So, I mean, it's but we never replaced that production off the bench. I know they're going to take Josh Hart and they moved him, to back up Randall, but we really need someone in that position behind Julius so you can give him a break. The good thing about, like I said, about Obi Toppin, he reminded me of the old Vinnie Johnson microwave from the Detroit Piston days, that he can come off the bench and give you that instant offense. But no, I probably wouldn't trade Randall right now. Carl Banks, Bob Papa, or the Bebop Rocksteady. They're the Bebop Rocksteady for my New York Giants. The channel was chat. Now we got that. Should Kafka go on the sideline? Since no, doesn't matter. He just sucks. Let's see. How do you say no to Bogues but yes to Malik Willis? Because Malik Willis at the time showed more potential than Bo Nix. Bo Nix has bounced around a little bit. He's kind of shown what he is. He has more of a scope of work in college, and I'm not saying no to him, but I'm not taking him in the first round. Yes, Zach Attack says that's Chat Sports. Chat Sports make shit up. And I have people send me this all the time. They just do, what is it called? Clickbait. And they just make shit up to get views. And I give them all the credit in the world. Why have any honesty and integrity? Just make some shit up. It's all good. It works. Let's see. I hate the Knicks move on Rose because he was I didn't like when they moved on from Derrick Rose. I really did not like when they moved on from Derrick Rose. I still think you needed some. I know he did not play down the stretch because they were playing more quickly, but I do think you still needed a backup or a better quality point guard right now on the Knicks. If something happens, God forbid, happens something to Jalen Brunson, we're screwed. We are literally screwed. And I'm a little bit worried now still with RJ Barrett and the migraines. But like I said, I love RJ right now. His game is really stepped up. And I love the fact that he's attacking the basket using both hands. Pimp Nank Slickback says Daniel Jones' conversation would be like if the Knicks gave Frank Ntilikina a max contract and refused to move on. Jericho Sims is actually hurt. He just went down. Sanders comes out. Would you take? No, I'm not taking a shot with Sanders right now because the fact his dad said he's not coming to college, and I believe Dion. Let's see here. Chat Sports admits they are a rumor. They admit they're stupid. Oh, well, that's even better. When you admit you're a lying, stupid idiot, I guess that works out for you. God, I wish I was big just once. It's one of my favorite lines from Goodfellas, Joe Pesci. When Henry's telling the story, and he goes, the guy was beaten on. He goes, God, I wish I was big just once. And everyone laughs because everyone knows I'm not a small gentleman. So that's kind of what the joke is. Let's see. Chat Sports are the type to do a mock draft and select 6 quarterbacks. Hey-o. All right. Well, can we get to 60 likes before I get out of here? Because I got to go have dinner, and the Knicks are on. The Knicks are on right now. And I told Zach Attack I had to be out of here at 7 o'clock because the Knicks were playing. Are the Knicks on right now? Because it was a weird time. The Knicks are up 10. The Knicks are up 10-4 against the Washington Wizards right now. We got 8 minutes and 41 seconds. It's the in-season tournament right now as we speak, as the Knicks should hopefully cruise to a win against the Washington Wizards, a 2-9 Washington Wizards. I hope the Knicks win tonight because then we got the Hornets tomorrow, and then we got the Timberwolves on Monday. So I kind of hope they step up a little bit and really kind of show something, because of the fact that they're sitting at 6-5, and I don't have a problem with them sitting at 6-5 because of the fact that you looked at twice. You also played the Celtics in there, and they are still a step below the Celtics, but they played a nice gritty game against them the other night, and they were just outmanned. They were just outgunned. And so I don't think they're going to be on that level. I still think they're going to be in the 5-6 area in the playoffs. But like I said, these next couple games are really going to be kind of a litmus test for the Knicks. We're up 13-0 right now, Zach. Okay, hit the like button. We got one more like away. Tim, I'm scared the Knicks are going to give a max contract to Amari in the next upcoming season. No, I'm not worried about that. I think everyone's sorry. I think we're going to be fine. Knicks are going to be fine. We're going to be fine, guys. And if you want to talk more Knicks chatter, don't forget that new podcast coming out, 3&D, talking all New York Knicks basketball. The first show will launch on Monday. It's probably going to be about a half-hour long podcast or something like that. 3&D, powered by Online Big Blue Sports LLC. I'm still looking for guests and even a co-host possibility. So if someone is interested in doing a little co-hosting work, talking about all New York Knicks basketball, I'd be happy. What's up, T, Brad? We're just getting ready to leave. T, the Knicks look better. The Knicks better beat the brakes off the Wizards. I agree 100%. I thought the Knicks were on at 8, not at 7. 6 hours. Yeah, that's okay. Outside of a quarterback, who else would you take in the later rounds? I got to go offensive lineman still. I got to go wide receiver. I need another corner. Potentially, I couldn't need a safety because of the fact that I don't know what's going on with Xavier McKinney. Do you like? I hate the in-season tournament. Hate it. Fucking hate it. Makes no goddamn sense. Literally makes zero sense to me. The in-season. I understand why they're doing it, but it literally makes zero sense to me. There's nothing to it. This isn't soccer. This is the NBA, which stands for not for very long. That's what the NFL stands for. T. Brad is your co-host for 3&D. T. Brad wanted to co-host 3&D with me. I would have T. Brad as a co-host. Look at Zach Attack, the unofficial producer of Online Big Blue Sports Entertainment. Oh no, there's a clock, and that clock tells me right now, guys, it is 7:19. The Knicks are on. This is Tim, Mr. York Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to see everyone on Sunday with that big stream. We will have James William as always. Appreciate everyone hanging in and hanging out. But you know what, guys, I gotta go because you know why? I'm out of here.